Chapter 041-Long Acquaintance. Sir, dinner is getting cold. Only then did Perona remember her original purpose. Leave it, just warm it up later. Liang felt Perona's cold soft body and said bluntly. Yeah. Perona nodded lightly, her pretty face flushed and unable to dissipate. The window is open, but there is no way to see further from the window. The fog here is too large, and the vision cannot penetrate the heavy fog at all. A breeze came blowing. Perona was a little cold and shrank a little, but inadvertently, she encountered Liang's indescribable position. Suddenly, her blood boiled, and she was mighty again. Sir. Perona's face was ruddy to the neck that was as white as jade, and even the roots of her ears were blushing half the sky, and she couldn't help but speak. You charming little goblin, amazing. Liang smiled, his breathing rhythm changed. The air slapped on Perona's neck, causing her whole body to shudder, her red lips trembling, her limbs weak, and she couldn't use her strength. Liang turned over and pressed Perona under it. Perona looked shy, looked at the seat next to her, and remained silent. Just when Liang was preparing for the next move, the system's voice suddenly came. Congratulations to the host, open the modifier, the energy value is plus 999,999. Comprehend to be unyielding in 100 battles, break through the novice, break through the entry, break through the proficient, break through the master, break through the master. What? What's the situation? Liang was stunned. He admitted that he didn't touch the modifiers of the system, did he? Why was there such a voice all of a sudden? There's only one thing he's doing right now. Could it be that the modifiers of the system are touched because of what is currently being done? I'm going, how do I feel? My spirit is 100 times stronger. It's even more brave than eating that thing. Immediately afterwards, Liang felt the blood in his body rolling, his whole body was red, his breathing changed, he was full of energy, and there was no place to vent. Feelings, this system, can even this be changed? What the hell? This is a long experience. Liang thought so in his heart, the ability that the system gave him was really too much. While doing this kind of thing, he can still use the modifiers of the system, so that he is full of energy now, and even that place has skyrocketed to the level of terrifying. Chapter 041-Long Experience. While doing this kind of thing, he can still use the modifiers of the system, so that he is full of energy now, and even that place has skyrocketed to the level of terrifying. This change seems to be more brave than eating that thing. Sir. Perona noticed Liang's change, and her delicate little face was a little nervous, said. Hearing Perona's crisp voice, Liang couldn't bear it anymore. The blood in his whole body rushed straight to his forehead, like a wolf, rushing towards Perona, who was as weak as a sheep. Outside the window, through the thick fog, a crescent moon exudes a halo of halo. The next day, the sun emerges, driving away the coldness of the night and drying the mist. The beginning of all things, full of vitality. But in the magic triangle, it was still dark and dim. Being in a dim environment all year round, even if the day and night alternate, it cannot change the environmental changes here. Dread bark, Dark Lord, inside the castle. In the room. Perona's brows were furrowed, her eyes were closed, and her delicate and pretty face was a little exhausted. After a night of tossing, she changed from a girl to a woman, and on this grand night, she didn't even know how many times she had passed. On the contrary, Liang was still lying on the side with full energy, his face full of helplessness, and he was trying to control the subsidence of his spirit. If he still retains such a terrifying energy, I am afraid that he will be exhausted. System, your role is so great, can you let me control my experience to fade away? Liang was full of helplessness. But fortunately, in the next time, he can only control his energy and keep it in a normal state, instead of being as energetic as last night. It's all right. Liang breathed a sigh of relief. He has a deeper understanding of the system now, and he never imagined that the role of the system is all over the field, and it should not be too broad. Afterwards, Li Ang looked at Perona, who was beside him with frowning and falling asleep, showing a bit of pity, stroking the other party's delicate face with a gentle smile. God knows how many times were last night. Even Li Ang himself can't count. It's no wonder that Perona is so tired. Even though her physique is different from ordinary people, she still looks tired under the attack of the storm. It seems that we have to control it in the future. Li Ang moved his hands and stroked Perona's soft pink hair, feeling a little pity. He himself was able to withstand the storm. However, Perona's body was unbearable. Chapter 042_Invitation from the Navy Headquarters. Naval Headquarters, Marin Vando. Inside the Marshal's office. Sengoku was sitting in a chair, holding a stack of documents in his hand, looking at the information in the documents, his brows furrowed. The information is: the Straw Hat Pirates defeated Crocodile, one of the 7 seas, and continued to this island. The defeat of Crocodile has been concealed. One of the 7 Wuhei under the king, Crocodile secretly organized the Baroque Walker Work Club, the purpose of which was to find ancient weapons, with wicked schemes and great ambitions. After reading this information, Sengoku fell silent. The Straw Hat Pirates, he naturally knows who it is. Now go to the old guy Carp and tell him about his grandson's condition. I'm afraid, he will laugh heartlessly. He will even be proud of it. This is an old and disrespectful guy. No wonder his son and grandson have gone out to sea to become pirates. He should also review himself. Even his own son, even his grandson has become a pirate. Navy against Cap, this old guy's family, is really worrying. Warring States rubbed his temples, thinking about many things in his heart. Garp is a hero of the Navy. Son Dorag is the leader of the Revolutionary Army. Grandson Luffy is a pirate. This family is really weird. He didn't even want to call the phone bug to find Garp. As the other party's old companion, he naturally knew Garp's temperament. I'm afraid, even if Garp knows about this, he will only laugh proudly. Oh, so it is, this guy Luffy is already so strong. And then, no shit, it's over. But the rest of the mess has to be wiped by the Warring States period. He took a deep breath and looked at the blue sky and white clouds outside the window. He should think about whether to complete the position of Chiwahai. Crocodile has seriously violated the regulations of the Admiralty. This is an action that even the world government will never allow. But Crocodile dares to touch it, and it must not be tolerated. Ancient weapons, this is an existence that can threaten the dominance of the world government. Anyone who tries to meddle in it will usher in a serious blow from the world government. That year's devil slaughtering order slaughtered an island. For this reason, even Crocodile, one of the 7 seas, was not spared in the slightest. Crocodile has already crossed the line, so he doesn't have the qualifications to stay in the Chiwahai under the king. Who should be sent to catch him in the Push City? Besides, if he is caught, the Chiwahai will if there is a vacancy, who is going to fill this position? Quote. Sengoku fell into deep thought, completely unable to think of an answer. All in all, one sentence. Crocodile and Baroque workers must disappear. Anything that threatens the world government cannot exist in this world. Chapter 042_Invitation from the Navy Headquarters. Anything that threatens the world government cannot exist in this world. Let's go, Bartholomew Bear. Sengoku's eyes narrowed slightly, and he had an answer in his heart. Bartholomew is currently accompanying the scientist Vegapunk and is conducting research, and he has completely become a member of the Navy, so he doesn't have to worry about mutiny. It would be a good thing for him to capture Crocodile. Crocodile's strength is too far from that of the Bartholomew Bear, and he will not have the ability to resist at all. In that case, let him go. Warring States dialed the phone bug and issued an order. The Bartholomew Bears followed suit to capture Crocodile. Crocodile, one of the 7 Wuhei under the king, had already announced his removal from the list at the same time as the Warring States period issued this order, and no longer has the rights to the Chihuahua. After the order was given, there was still one thing left to think about in the Warring States period. The king went down to Chihuahua, and there was a vacancy. Let who do it? If there is a vacancy in Chichibukai, there will still be a lot of losses in the naval headquarters. At least, in the war, the deterrent power of the 7 people in the Chihuahua is still necessary. At this time, the Warring States flashed, and a figure appeared in his head. It seems like a good choice for him to be Chihuahua. Moreover, after this period of search, he already knew that the pirate who escaped from the Push City was just an ordinary pirate, and he did not have too many evil deeds. In this way, it would be a good thing to make him one of the 7 Marshalseas. However, problems followed. The other party, which area is he in now? He couldn't find the location of the other party, and he couldn't send the invitation letter from the Navy headquarters at all. Yes, since it can't be found, let everyone in the whole sea know. I believe that he will soon receive an invitation from the Navy headquarters. Sengoku's eyes flickered, and he had an idea in his heart. Immediately, he convened his staff and held a meeting, in which all the senior officers of the Navy headquarters participated. Finally came to a conclusion. The new Chihuahua has been established. In the Warring States period, after the meeting, he immediately called the phone bug and asked the relevant staff to prepare and spread the news that he conveyed next. Immediately after. The efficiency of the Navy headquarters is quite high. A seagull. Flying from the Navy headquarters to the whole sea, the latest newspapers and periodicals of the Navy headquarters are issued from high altitudes, falling on the sea, islands, and small towns, so that everyone can know the latest news and trends of the Navy headquarters. Chapter 043 The Lively Sea Again. Delar Town. This is an island town in the Great Waterway. It is relatively prosperous and developed in all directions. In terms of economic and trade, it cooperates with the nearby islands and is prosperous. At this time, high in the sky, newspapers and magazines fell from the corner of the seagull's mouth. Pedestrians came and went. A young man picked up the newspapers and magazines, and after reading the S, his face was shocked, and he lost his voice. Damn, there is a big movement in the Navy headquarters. What's the situation? Everyone was puzzled. I saw that the young man read out according to the, from now on, Crocodile, one of the king's 7 seas, has decided to make him famous from the 7 seas after discussion. What? Everyone was shocked, and then asked, what's going on? The Navy headquarters learned that Crocodile himself, using the power of Shichibukai, created a secret organization in private, posing a huge threat to the world government. This kind of behavior makes the Navy headquarters feel imminent. Hereby, the Navy headquarters issued an order to immediately stop Crocodile and his subordinates from eradicating them, and arrest him in Push City for trial. The title of one of the 7 Wuhai under the king will be eliminated. When everyone heard the news, they all expressed their inner shock. The name of Chihuahua is going to change hands. The news that Crocodile was removed from the Navy headquarters is not easy. Oh my God. Is it true? Nonsense, it must be true. It has the seal of the Navy headquarters, it can't be fake. Then the sea is about to boil. Wait. Holding newspapers and magazines in his hand, the young man blocked everyone's words. His eyes widened, and then he said, there is still some news, please be quiet first. Everyone was silent, looking at the young man, waiting for the latter's words. At the invitation of the Navy headquarters, Li Ang, the big pirate of Berry with a bounty of 300 million berry, has gone through various investigations and learned that he himself did not do much evil. Therefore, the Navy headquarters hereby announces that it sincerely invites Li Ang to become a member of the King's Lower Chihuahua, and to have the power of Chihuahua and perform the obligations of Chihuahua. The young man told all the news, and the whole person was stunned. The surrounding crowd was silent and stunned. At first, They didn't know who Liang was, but recently, Liang's name is so loud that almost everyone knows it. How could they not know who Liang is? The second man who escaped from the advanced city, Liang. Even the Navy headquarters issued a bounty of 300 million berry to capture Liang. But in the next time, Liang seemed to disappear without any news, so that everyone did not know, where did Liang go? Some people say that Liang entered the New World, but some people say that Liang may have died of serious injuries while escaping from the advanced city. Chapter 043 The Lively Sea Again. Some people say that Liang entered the New World, but some people say that Liang may have died of serious injuries while escaping from the advanced city. Numerous speculations, but no confirmation. Now, the Navy headquarters has actually released the latest notice that they want to invite Liang to become the new Chihuahua, which is simply too shocking. It's terrible, the sea is really going to change. The Navy headquarters actually invited Liang to be the Chihuahua. I'm afraid this news will make everyone boil again. No, Liang, this is the second terrifying figure who escaped from the advanced city. If he becomes Chihuahua, those pirates will have nightmares. Quote. One of them asked weakly, but, will Liang really agree? Aren't you talking nonsense? Becoming Chihuahua is a supreme honor, no one can refuse it. That's right, Chihuahua's so much power is also a symbol of honor, and most people will not refuse. I think Liang will definitely agree. The crowd quickly scoffed. Chihuahua, this title is a symbol of personal strength and tyranny. At least, for them, if they can become Chihuahua, they will wake up with a smile even from their dreams. It's a pity that they don't have this strength. At the same time, this piece of news swept the entire sea, the Great Waterway. Almost everyone already knows, a news notice issued by the Navy headquarters. Therefore, the Navy headquarters and Liang became the object of everyone's discussion. Many pirates and civilians are talking about the invitation from the Navy headquarters to Liang. Even the rest of the Chihuahua also learned about this matter in common. Even, this news has spread to the New World. The change of owner of Chihuahua will also affect the pattern of the New World. Although the impact is not very big, as a scout of some forces, he must pass this news back to his boss's ears. In contrast, the Straw Hat Pirates' bounty increase, such a trivial matter, seems to be unknown. Under the suppression of Liang's sensational news. Therefore, the Straw Hat Pirates did not appear in the sight of the rest of the pirates, appearing to be unknown. This day, the sea was boiling, and the news of Chihuahua's substitution made people feel extremely shocked. At the same time, everyone invariably looked at Liang. Countless pirates, civilians, and navies are curious. Will Liang agree to become a new Chihuahua? Chapter 044_Reaction. New World, Dressrosa. Known as the Island of Love and Flowers, here you can see some toys and walk around the streets. King's Heights. Beside the swimming pool, on a chair, Doflamingo was wearing sunglasses, pink feather clothes and cropped trousers, with his legs crossed, drinking juice. Young master, young master. Slug Torapal came over with panic on his face. There's movement in the Navy headquarters again. Say. Doflamingo just reached a cooperation with the 4 Emperor Kaido, and now he is in a good mood, so he doesn't care about the stench of Torapal. It was caused by that guy again. This guy just disappeared for a week or so, and it appeared again, causing the sea to boil. Countless people are looking forward to hearing his answer. Torapal held a newspaper, took a breath, and said disgustingly. Which guy? Doflamingo asked. Liang, the second man who escaped from the advanced city. Torapal replied quickly, it's him who once again made the calm sea lively again. Countless people are waiting, whether he will finally reach an agreement with the Navy headquarters. Navy headquarters. What connection could he have with the Navy headquarters? Doflamingo frowned, puzzled. One of the 7 Wuhei under the king, Crocodile, who is as famous as you, the young master, was arrested and imprisoned in the advanced city. Therefore, there is a vacancy. The naval headquarters has issued a notice to invite Li Ang as the new Chihuahua. Torapal replied, still looking very surprised. He couldn't believe the news at first. An unknown person was actually invited to become Chihuahua. Although he escaped from the advanced city, it is undeniable that he still has a lot of strength. But this is far from enough compared to the Chihuahua that was originally famous in the sea. In the Chiwu Sea, any pirate is famous. Just escaping from the advanced city was not enough for the rest of the Chihuahua people to value. However, since the Navy headquarters has issued an invitation, then this matter will not go wrong. The new Chihuahua, the sea is really getting more and more lively. I am looking forward to it now. I want to take a look at this person, Li Ang. Quote. The corners of Doflamingo's mouth moved slightly, and he said meaningfully with a smile on his face. Recently, Li Ang's name has covered up a lot of news, which made Brother Doflaming curious about Li Ang, and wanted to see how strange the other party was. Young master, you say, will he agree? Torapal asked in a low voice. If it were me, I would definitely agree. Chihuahua has a lot of resources to use, and I don't want to waste it. Moreover, as a Chihuahua, except for some major events, I basically don't need to do anything for the Navy. Not for. Doflamingo smiled and continued, but people are different, I don't know what's going on in his stomach. Immediately after. Chapter 044 reactions from all parties. Immediately after. Doflamingo stood up and stood on the King's Heights, where he could see the whole island in his eyes. He saw the vast ocean, and the corner of his mouth twitched. The more lively the sea is, the more excited he is. The news has spread far and wide, the calm sea is full of excitement. The new Shichibukai is about to be born. This news made many people feel a little throbbing. Besides, a large number of pirates entered the Great Channel and embarked on an adventure. A supernova is about to hit the world stage. Far in the Magic Triangle. A fog shrouded, the pirate ship had rotted, drifted alone at sea, and gradually sank to the bottom of the sea. Dread Bark, Dark Lord, inside the castle. Li Ang sat on the sofa and stretched out very comfortably. Sir, please have breakfast. Perona floated over. She was wearing a princess costume, as beautiful as a little princess, with white shoulders and a plump figure. I don't know if after Li Ang's moisturizing, it is obvious that Perona's figure is more devilish than before, and her face is ruddy and her skin becomes more delicate. Good. Li Ang stood up from the sofa and went to the dining table with Perona. Dong dong dong. Suddenly, the gate of the castle was knocked. Perona consciously looked at the position of the gate and floated over, holding an umbrella and a doll in her left hand, very cute. Crunch. The door opened, and Absalom and Hogbako were full of excited expressions, out of breath, and behind them, the figure of Moonlight Moria appeared. After a week of recuperation, Moonlight Moriah's injury was almost healed, leaving only a shallow scar without any sequelae. It was for this reason that Hogbak was even more excited, thinking every day how he could please Li Ang as the other side's valet. Li Ang brother. Moonlight Moria had a smile and sharp teeth. No matter how you looked at it, she looked like a malicious demon. Why did you come here? Li Ang was a little surprised, looked at Moonlight Moria and asked with a smile. Chapter 045_Chihuahua. Not interested in. My lord, there is a piece of news from the sea recently, which has caused a lot of uproar. Hogbuk said with a flattering face. The news, it's about me. Li Ang was a little surprised and asked. Hearing this, Absalom nodded and said, Sir, you don't know, this news is about to sweep the whole sea area. Almost everyone is talking about your name. What's the matter? Li Ang couldn't help but ask. He admitted that he hadn't done anything major this week. Apart from the battle with Moonlight Moria, there were few things that he could keep in mind. It stands to reason that the sea should not spread his news. But now, inexplicably, the sea is still boiling. Come to think of it, it has nothing to do with his own actions. The Navy headquarters sincerely invites you to become the new Shichibukai. Hogbuck grabbed the front and hurriedly reported. Immediately, Absalom glanced at Hogbuck with some dissatisfaction, but did not speak. He should have been the one to announce. But this damn guy actually took the lead. Since Li Ang showed such terrifying swordsmanship and medical skills, Absalom and Hogbuck have formed rivals, vying for the qualifications to follow Li Ang. But this is just their wishful thinking. It's just the two of them, but the struggle is in full swing, very fierce. Chiwahai. Was a hint of surprise on Li Ang's face, and then he smiled lightly. I'm not interested in Chiwahai or something. Whoever likes to be the one will be the one to be, and I won't get involved in this muddy water. Huh. Including Moonlight Moria was also stunned. He is Chiwahai himself, and he is naturally very clear that as Chiwahai, there are no disadvantages. Apart from asking him to take action when there is a major turmoil in the Navy, there is no other requirement. But the Navy has experienced major turmoil, which is rare in almost a decade. Therefore, basically, Chiwahai does not need to pay too much labor for the Navy, but instead gets a lot of power from the Navy. Why not do it? At least, Moonlight Moria can use the power of Kibukai to start his own experiments and plans on the terror bark. Moreover, they will not be wanted by the Navy headquarters, and will send personnel to arrest them. No matter how many people die here, the Navy headquarters will turn a blind eye. Sir, don't you think about it? Hogbuck was a little surprised, and then asked. There is nothing to think about. What can Chiwahai get? I can get it myself, so why should I have anything to do with the Navy headquarters? Li Ang smiled lightly, looking very calm. Chapter 045_Chiwahai. Not interested in. And GT, page 1/2. Please click the next page to continue reading. Li Ang smiled lightly, looking very calm. What power can Chiwahai give him? What can these powers do? He can do it by relying on himself, and does not need to rely on the power of the Navy headquarters at all. Therefore, why did he need to do this to cooperate with the Navy headquarters? Brother Li Ang said it well. Moonlight Moria showed a hint of surprise, nodded and smiled. Now, standing in front of Li Ang, he felt a burst of pressure. How could someone who can hit him severely with a single blow covet the power of Chiwahai? This is just a joke. As long as Li Ang wants, with his terrifying strength, he can do it. Your lord is your lord, even the name of Chiwahai. If you say you don't want it, you don't want it. Absalom hurried through the horses and smiled flatteringly. My lord, do we want to spread some news to let the people in the Navy headquarters know that you don't want to become Chiwahai? But in this case, the Navy headquarters will take action against you. After all, you don't want to be Shichibukai, which means you want to be a pirate. In this way, the Navy headquarters cannot sit idly by. Hogbuck thought for a moment, and said with a little worry. Really? In fact, the naval headquarters gave Li Ang 2 ways to do it. The first one is to become Chiwahai, then everyone will be at peace with each other. The second rule is to refuse to become Chiwahai. As long as Li Ang refuses to become Chiwahai, people from the Navy headquarters will naturally think in the worst direction. Refusal to become Chiwahai means that he is unwilling to be Chiwahai, but wants to become One Piece. In this way, it is naturally impossible for the Navy headquarters to have a good look on Li Ang. Even, it is not impossible for the dispatched personnel to obliterate Li Ang as soon as possible. Do I need to be afraid? Li Ang couldn't help but smiled softly and said lightly, even if the generals of the Navy headquarters are here, will I be defeated by them? If they dare to come, then get ready and re-elect another general. Silence. Both Hogbuck and Absalom were shocked by Leon's rhetoric. Even Moonlight Moria had to admit that he himself did not have the courage of Li Ang. Even in the face of the entire Navy headquarters, the fearless spirit makes people deeply impressed. These remarks can also be seen from the side, Li Ang's confidence in his own strength. Recalling the scene of being hit hard by Liang, a smile appeared on Moonlight Mariah's face. With such a strong person as a neighbor, I always felt extra at ease. My lord is strong and powerful, and naturally he is not afraid of the Navy headquarters. Hogbek and Absalom looked at each other and then looked at Liang with admiration in their eyes. Chapter 046 _ The embarrassing situation of the Navy headquarters. When the announcement from the naval headquarters came out, the sea was boiling. But the next day, there was no news of Liang, and there was no news of the naval headquarters that ordered Liang to be the Chihuahua, which made everyone in the sea a little puzzled. What's going on? It stands to reason that this piece of news has swept the entire sea area, and Liang should have received it. Yes, but why didn't you hear Liang's echo? I don't know, maybe he hasn't heard it yet. After 2 days, he will naturally understand. Quote. Lots of talk. Day 3. There is still no reply from Liang, and even the Navy headquarters has not issued any notice. This has led some people to speculate in their hearts, but it has not been confirmed yet. 4th day. Day 5. In the blink of an eye, about 10 days have passed since the time when the Navy headquarters issued the notice. In the past 10 days, there has been no news about Liang in the sea. Same. The Navy headquarters also did not issue a notice stating that Liang agreed to become Shichibukai. This made one thing certain in everyone's heart. That is, Liang refused to become Chihuahua. That's right. Otherwise, within 10 days, there will definitely be a reply. But Liang did not respond, he could only say that he did not have the idea of becoming Chihuahua. This made many pirates boil and laughed at the Navy. These wastes from the Navy headquarters actually want Liang to become Chihuahua. This time, let's face it. Liang didn't respond. I want to see what the Navy headquarters will do. No, the news was announced with such great fanfare before. Now, Liang has not heard any response, which means that Liang has no intention of becoming Chihuahua. These guys from the Navy headquarters are simply idle and have nothing to do. I'm dying of laughter. Quote. Some pirates who have long disliked the Navy headquarters have already begun their ridicule. Words spread in the sea. Countless people are almost certain that Liang did not have the idea of becoming Chihuahua. Otherwise, in 10 days, even if people are in the New World, they can pass the news back. But in these 10 days, there was no such news at all. At this time, Marine Headquarters, Marine Fando. Inside the Marshal's office. Warring States frowned, and he was naturally very aware of some gossip that had been circulating during this time. I have to admit that it was a very reckless thing for him to publicly invite Liang to become Chihuahua. However, at that time, almost no one thought that Liang would refuse, which also ignored this problem. Chapter 046 _ The embarrassing situation of the Navy headquarters. However, at that time, almost no one thought that Liang would refuse, which also ignored this problem. Today, the situation of the Navy headquarters is very embarrassing. Liang did not respond, which made the Navy headquarters lose face. The big Navy headquarters actually even invited a pirate to be the Chihuahua. This trivial thing can't be done, and it is no wonder that it will be laughed at by many pirates. Dong dong dong. The door knocked. Come in. Warring States took a deep breath and calmed down, said. A soldier walked in and reported, Marshal of the Warring States period, the pirates have become more and more rampant recently. Many people in the branch have sent back news that the pirates attacked the Navy recklessly, and they are not worried about the reaction of our Navy headquarters. Damn. Sengoku's face gradually became gloomy. The majesty of the Navy headquarters was constantly being attacked, which made him feel a lot of pressure. For the first time, Liang escaped from the advanced city. This has already caused some loss of the majesty of the naval headquarters. And then, the matter of inviting Chihuahua was even more turbulent. However, in the end, it still gave them a slap in the face of the naval headquarters. They did not expect that Liang had no idea of becoming Chihuahai. Obviously Liang has not done too many evil deeds. In the view of the Warring States period, this is something that can be made, but the other party refuses to become Chihuahai, which makes him puzzled. Could it be that he wants to be the pirate king? Sengoku's face gradually became solemn, thinking in his heart. Apart from this idea, he couldn't think of the reason why Liang refused to become Chihuahai. But these things have been irreparable. The pirates in the sea are so rampant. It is precisely because of the recent influence of the Navy headquarters, which has been constantly slapped in the face by Liang. The majesty of the Navy headquarters has been continuously damaged, and many pirates also regarded the Navy headquarters as nothing, and pirates who openly and rashly fortresses of the Navy branch would never exist in the past. But now, there have been quite a few pirates who dared to attack the Navy rashly. Send me a notice. Warring States narrowed his eyes slightly, and said, since Liang has no plans to become Chihuahai, then raise his bounty to 500 million bellies. Furthermore, I will inform everyone at sea that anyone who can take him down. The Navy headquarters will give this person the position of Chihuahai, and he will never break his promise. This is the time for the naval headquarters to establish its majesty. If Liang can be successfully eliminated, the majesty of the naval headquarters will naturally return. Although, the Warring States period did not think that there were pirates who could destroy Liang. But this is also an action by the Navy headquarters to make up for its own majesty. The Navy headquarters can let the pirates kill each other without spending one soldier and one soldier, why not do it? It can also make up for the Navy headquarters for no reason. The recent loss of majesty can be said to be beneficial and harmless. Next, it's about the infighting of these pirates, which has nothing to do with the Navy headquarters. If there is someone who can kill Liang, the Navy headquarters will eventually give the title of Chihuahai as it should. That's all, there is no loss at all. As for the Warring States period, he could sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight and reap the benefits of the fishermen. Chapter 047_Broken Silence. As soon as the news of the Navy headquarters came out, countless pirates in the sea were noisy. The Navy headquarters is about to start. But then again, we can't even find a human figure. What if the Navy headquarters issued this notice? Could it be that they can find Liang out of thin air? Moreover, Liang's ability to escape from the advanced city shows his terrifying strength. If the Navy headquarters does this, they are not afraid that he will retaliate. Just kidding, the Navy headquarters is still afraid of pirates' revenge. What's more, I feel that Liang should have died, and there is no news of him. Quote. The recent uproar in the sea is the matter of Liang. The announcement from the Navy headquarters has been conveyed, making countless pirates feel a little bit eager to move. What can Shichibukai do? The power of Chihuahai allows pirates to develop their own strength secretly. This is what many pirates are jealous of. It is equivalent to carrying out illegal activities under legal circumstances, but the Navy headquarters still sit back and turn a blind eye. In this way, the power of Chihuahai can be imagined. By the way, are you going to do something to Liang? Why don't you go together? This is Chihuahai. If you can become Chihuahai and develop your power, you can effectively get rid of the title of Chihuahai and enter the new world. Don't be kidding, Liang can escape from the advanced city. I'm afraid, his strength is not weak. Quote. Countless pirates have different ideas. All in all, the sea today can only be described with one word. That is, mess. The original sea pattern was still somewhat orderly. Although pirates continued to emerge, at least it was not as chaotic as it is today. Because Liang escaped from the advanced city, the whole sea was no longer as peaceful as it used to be. The magic triangle, the horror bark. Near the edge of the coast. Liang is leisurely holding a fishing rod and fishing comfortably. He never imagined that the outside world had already made a commotion because of his affairs. There are even many pirates who want to find him. The title of Chihuahai can be said to be quite tempting. Especially for some conspirators, the title of Chihuahua is an indispensable thing. If you want to shake the pattern of the New World, Chihuahua is the first step for those conspirators. Among them, Bupin and Blackbeard, Trafalgaro, etc., they all started from Chihuahua, and then entered the New World and gradually rose. The most obvious is Blackbeard Titch. I don't know, has he already had a decisive battle with Ace now? Chapter 047_Broken Tranquility. I don't know, has he already had a decisive battle with Ace now? Li Ang didn't care about these things at all. Anyway, he was very satisfied with the days he was here. If there is no accident, it is not a problem for him to live here for a year and a half if he is accompanied by beautiful women. Occasionally fishing, at night with beautiful Perona, he. Where can you find a day like this? Anyway, Li Ang himself was somewhat satisfied. Whoa! The sea water drifted and the foggy area made the pirate ship unable to tell the direction. There are many pirate ships in the fog here, and the crew inside keep dying. And Li Ang, who was fishing on the edge of the coast, could see a pirate boat passing by from time to time, and the bones on it were still very conspicuous. It is about 300 meters away from Li Ang. In the area of the Magic Triangle, there are still not many pirate ships strayed into it. But there are also some pirate ships that are lucky enough to leave here. Nothing is absolute. At this time, a pirate ship was gradually approaching Li Ang's position. There were a dozen or 20 people on the ship, looking around in fear. Captain, we've been wandering here for a day and haven't found a way out yet. Don't be noisy, if I could go out, wouldn't I want to go out? Everyone is waiting quietly, the captain will definitely have a solution. Quote. The pirates on the boat were noisy and anxious. They are very strong and clear that the position they are in now is the Magic Triangle in the production theory. Countless pirate ships are lost here and can never get out of the terrifying area. The position in front of the deck. A middle-aged man stared at the front with his eyes fixed on the front. The fog was shrouded in fog and he couldn't see the scene in front of him clearly. His name is Nick. As the captain of this ship, he has a bounty of 10 million berries. Wait, there's someone there. Nick's pupils shrank, and he saw the shore ahead. It seemed that a young man was fishing. He rubbed his eyes, making sure that he was not mistaken, and quickly shouted, "Quick, sail over. The distance is getting closer." Finally, Nick saw the whole picture of this man clearly, and in an instant, his entire face turned pale, and he said quickly, "Go, run away immediately, don't be a mother-in-law, change your direction immediately." The person he saw was naturally Li Ang. Chapter 048_All to Die. An hour later. Nick was lucky and escaped from the Magic Triangle, but he was still frightened and did not dare to stay in this sea area, and immediately let the navigator leave this sea area. Finally, he fled day and night, and after escaping for a day, he stopped. "Boss, who did you see?" Many crew members were puzzled and asked. "The monster that's been making a lot of noise lately." Nick still had lingering fears, and said with a face full of fear. "Who?" "Li Ang." Nick took a deep breath, spit out 2 words, and said, "What?" Many crew members were shocked. The man who escaped from the Advanced City is actually in the Magic Triangle. It turned out that he has never been heard from, and he's settled here. "Boss, do we want to spread the news?" Some of the crew members asked in a low voice, their minds tumbling. "Of course." Nick's eyes flashed brightly, and he nodded. "It just so happens that there are still many people who want to find him. We can take this opportunity to get a lot of money. At present, only we know about Li Ang's trace. This time, we're going to make a fortune. After doing this, we can enter a new world and live a happy life." The boss is mighty. Many crew members were excited. 3 days later. The sea, which had gradually subsided, boiled again because of Li Ang's name. "What? Are you saying that Li Ang is in the Magic Triangle?" "That's right, it's absolutely true. Just a few days ago, a pirate ship passed through the magic triangle and escaped, and this news came out. They sold this piece of news, but I don't know who leaked the news, and now everyone knows it. Li Ang's location. My god, doesn't that mean that there are a lot of pirates who will move on the wind? Yeah, I see, a bloody battle is about to appear. Quote. The sea was lively and noisy. Even the Navy headquarters received this message. Marin Fando, in the marshal's office. Sengoku's eyes flickered and he whispered to himself, Li Ang, has he finally appeared? Now, there should be pirates to check his truth. According to Kayabu, all he has is terrifying speed. As for strength, it has never appeared. Otherwise, the original yellow monkey should have been severely injured by the opponent. But in fact, he did not do it. And what Magellan said, that terrifying sound wave attack can block the immunity of those with natural abilities to physical attacks. This person is really a mystery. Even in the Warring States period, it was not clear where Li Ang came from and how he had such a strange means of attack. But now, he just needs to sit on the mountain and watch the tiger fight, that's it. Chapter 048_all come to die. But now, he just needs to sit on the mountain and watch the tiger fight, that's it. The news has swept the sea. I believe that soon there will be pirates crusade against the magic triangle. Moonlight Mariah seems to be there too. Are the two related? Sengoku narrowed his eyes slightly, thinking in his heart. Moonlight Moria, one of the 7 seas under the king, is located in the magic triangle. This is something that many people know. But what Warring States didn't know was that Moonlight Moria not only met Li Ang, but was also hit hard by the opponent. Now, the two are also friendly neighbors. Dong dong dong. The door knocked. Come in. The Warring States period said calmly. A middle-aged man in a navy uniform walked in, expressionless, with a heavy aura on his body. Sakazuki, what are you doing here? Sengoku was a little surprised and asked. That's right. This middle-aged man is one of the 3 admirals of the navy, Akainu and Sakazuki. Heard. Akainu's face was solemn, and he said seriously, Marshal of the Warring States period, I request, go to the magic triangle and start an arrest operation against Li Ang. I beg your approval. Well. Warring States frowned and said, we don't need to fight him yet. The point is, he didn't do anything too outrageous, and we don't have to fight him head-on. Now, just watching the pirates, infighting is the only way. The best way. However, Marshal of the Warring States period, if we don't catch him, the majesty of our naval headquarters will be completely lost. Akainu was a little stubborn and said bluntly. So what? I said, this matter, so far, you don't need to rush to the magic triangle, just wait quietly for the news from the group of pirates. Warring States' face expressionless, without any emotion, said. Yes, Marshal. Akainu gritted his teeth, but there was nothing he could do. He could only nod his head, and immediately left the Marshal's office. Looking at the back of Akainu leaving, Sengoku frowned, not knowing what he was thinking. Now, not yet. The corners of Warring States' mouth moved slightly, and he said to himself, I haven't figured out his trump card and purpose yet, so it's the best measure to stay put. ... Great Fairway. Many pirates traveled together with the goal of entering the magic triangle. They swear and have made up their minds that they will kill Li Ang, so that they can justifiably become Chiwahai and carry out some secret plans. Brothers, we can't be careless, this is the man who escaped from the advanced city, and he also rejected the invitation of Chiwahai. Although I have never seen his strength, but thinking about it, he will definitely not be weak. One after another pirate ship, ready to go, a voice came out, very loud. Immediately, groups of pirates rushed into the magic triangle with great fanfare. Chapter 049_Trail of Blackbeard. Magic Triangle. The fog shrouded, the unprecedented tranquility, was completely broken on this day. Countless pirate ships rushed into this area frantically, as if they had forgotten the horror of this area, and their heads were instilled with the idea of killing Liang. It's just escaping from the advanced city. It's no big deal. At most, it can only mean that he has good luck. That's right, it's just good luck. He didn't escape with his own strength. I want to say, the Golden Lion is the real character. Liang, he's not quite there. Rejecting Chihuahai, it can only be said that he is blind. Brothers, we will definitely catch up on this trip. He has nothing to fear. Quote. A group of pirates bowed and shouted excitedly. In this foggy environment, they couldn't hide their excitement. Really? Liang did not show his strength in the sea. Everything was known to everyone only because he escaped from the advanced city. In fact, his strength is still a mystery in the eyes of countless pirates. Only people from the Navy headquarters know that Liang's own strength is also very terrifying. However, this news was hidden in the headquarters of the Navy and did not reveal it. This has caused countless pirates to blindly think that Liang is nothing. In the face of the real record, Liang's actions are not so difficult. Escape from the advanced city, which is worthy of worship. However, there are always some people who think that Liang was able to escape from the advanced city by virtue of his extraordinary luck. Moreover, there are not a few people who think so. Just a mere Liang, nothing to be afraid of. A captain held a blade, laughed wildly, and shouted. The pirate ships are gathered together, and the scale is still very large. It is estimated that the pirate ships here add up to no less than hundreds. Hundreds of pirate ships represent hundreds of pirate groups, with a number of no less than 5,000 people. Such a terrifying group of pirates all poured into the magic triangle. Among them, without some people contributing to the flames, it is certainly impossible. Some were hesitant at first, but in the end, they all joined the ranks of entering the magic triangle. Smart people will find that there is something tricky here. Not from the Navy headquarters, but a pirate. As for who? Then it is unknown. In a word, these pirates who entered the magic triangle are all reckless people who do things without thinking. Chapter 049 _ The Trail of Blackbeard. In a word, these pirates who entered the magic triangle are all reckless people who do things without thinking. The real Black Hands have not really shown up yet. The breeze was blowing, and the fog blocked the vision of countless pirates, giving them a clear sense of direction. But the scary thing is that it is obviously an environment where you can't tell the direction. But just like there is always a person who has prepared a direction for them, they have been sailing all the time, without repeating it, but rushing to the direction of the terrifying bark unimpeded. A pirate ship sails on the sea, and occasionally some abandoned pirate ships can be seen, but they still can't contain their excited hearts. Brothers, you're almost at your destination, get ready. Don't worry, boss, this time, we will definitely be able to take down this guy Liang. He doesn't have any actual combat record at all, so I dare to conclude with 100% that he is just a lucky person who escaped from the advanced city. Maybe, he refused to become Chihuahai because he didn't have the strength, and he didn't even dare to reply for fear of being missed by others. Quote. The scene was once lively to the extreme. Even some people who were initially low in confidence have become full of confidence. This process is intriguing. Who is it that fuels the fire? And this group of pirates didn't think of these problems at all. They were completely driven by the inexplicable atmosphere, becoming excited and excited, as if they were winning, blindly thinking that they could win this time, blindly thinking that Liang was vulnerable. On a certain ship, a burly man, grinning, showing a smile that lacks a few teeth, shouted, "It's just Liang, do we need to be afraid of him? It's a joke." That's right, with so many of us, we still need to be afraid of him alone. However, then again, how are the positions of Chihuahai allocated? How to distribute? Whoever kills Liang will get the title of Chihuahai. So, brothers, don't hold back, we must win the title of Chihuahai. Quote. After arousing the excitement of the crowd. Not everyone noticed. This burly middle-aged man quietly left the pirate ship and went to other pirate ships, doing the same thing. One look. The most striking feature of the middle-aged man is that on his chin, there is a black beard, which is very prominent, so thick that he can't help but take a few more glances. Sudden. He turned his head and looked at the foggy area ahead. At the same time, there was a strange arc in the corner of his mouth, and he whispered to himself, "The position of Chihuahua, I am bound to get it. For this reason, I let you cannon fodder go to death, I feel at ease. You, die well." Chapter 050_War is coming. Dread bark, Dark Lord, inside the castle. Dong dong dong. The door was knocked. Coincidentally, Li Ang and Perona had dinner together. Perona floated to the position of the door, and after opening the door, she saw Hogbag and Absalom walking in, her expressions full of anxiety. After the unremitting efforts of the two, they finally won the trust of Li Ang. Therefore, when the two entered the dark territory, they no longer needed an answer from Li Ang. All three, including Moonlight Moria, could enter the dark territory at will. It's some kind of care for the neighbors. What's wrong? Li Ang chewed the fruit in his mouth, looked at the two, and asked. Not good, my lord. Absalom was out of breath and couldn't hide his anxious expression. He quickly explained, the sky has turned upside down outside. The Navy headquarters issued a notice to deal with you, so that now many pirates are flocking here. What notice? Li Ang asked with a hint of curiosity. Your bounty has been raised to 500 million bellies, and as long as you kill you can get the title of Chihuahua. As a result, many pirates are eager to move. Hogbuk went on to say. 500 million berry. Li Ang was very surprised and said with a smile, this is one of the top bounties in the Great Waterway. But I am very puzzled. What is the purpose of the Navy headquarters attacking me for no reason? My lord, perhaps you think that your actions are not a threat to the Navy headquarters. But in fact, you escaped from the advanced city before and then refused to become Chihuahua, which has caused the Navy headquarters to lose face. So, in order to save the face of the Navy headquarters, they have to take some measures to prove that their Navy headquarters are not soft persimmons. This is what is happening now. Absalom explained. Is the Navy of the Navy headquarters here too? Li Ang asked with a smile. If he really came to the Navy, he wouldn't mind destroying some, and let the Navy headquarters know that their Navy is not a soft persimmon, and he, Li Ang, can't be provoked by anyone. That's not true, it's just that many pirate ships have entered the Magic Triangle. Hogbuk shook his head and replied. Do you sit on a mountain and watch tigers fight? It's very similar to the style of the Navy headquarters. Li Ang smiled and understood. The infighting between pirates, no matter which side wins, is beneficial to the Navy without any harm. Sir, that group of pirates is coming soon. Hogbuk was a little nervous and reminded. Those who can come are a mob. Li Ang's eyes twinkled brightly, and he said with a faint smile. Although he didn't do anything terrible, he didn't kill a strong pirate, and he didn't have a so-called record. However, the people who can enter the Magic Triangle and come to crusade him are all brainless people, that's for sure. Chapter 050_ The battle is imminent. NLT, 29 and GT. However, the people who can enter the Magic Triangle and come to crusade him are all brainless people, that's for sure. If a pirate with a little brain, it is impossible to mix in this muddy water. Unless some people have ulterior motives. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, even if Li Ang's strength is poor, he is still a man who escaped from the advanced city. This shocking move is here, whether he has a record or not, it can show his own strength and should not be underestimated. And the group of pirates who rashly attacked without knowing the situation was not a mob, what was that? I'm afraid it's a question whether they can get here smoothly. Li Ang shook his head, thinking to himself. Sir, it's a little weird. I feel that they are getting closer and closer. Even the pirate ship didn't get lost in the middle, as if someone deliberately guided them. Absalom pondered for a moment and said solemnly. Oh, Navy. Li Ang smiled with a hint of surprise. No matter who came, he would not be afraid. Even if the three generals arrived together, it may not be without the strength of a battle. Li Ang still has full confidence in his own strength. I don't know. Hogbuk shook his head and said. Let's go and see how many people come. Li Ang stood up and said to Perona, who was beside him, clean up the food on the table and wait for me to come back, don't run around. Yeah. Perona nodded obediently. At this time, Hogbuk proposed, Sir, do you want to invite Lord Moria to help out? Morlia, no, as a Chiwahai, if he helps me at this time, it will inevitably cause the Navy's suspicion, and the gains will outweigh the losses. What's more, these rabble people don't need to be recruited. Li Ang shook his head and said casually. It is very true what the Lord said. The two nodded and stopped talking. They still recognized Li Ang's strength very much. After all, this was a terrifying figure who hit Moonlight Moria hard with one blow. Even Moonlight Moria had to bow his head when standing in front of Li Ang. In contrast, they are more curious. How will the group of pirates who swarmed to the terrifying three-masted sailing ship die? Will Leon lose? Non-existent. The two never thought that Li Ang would lose in the battle. Because this is simply impossible. NLT, 30 and GT. Chapter 051_Pirate Login. Horror Bark, location on the edge of the coast. The fog shrouded, and the heavy fog covered people's vision. Li Ang and his party successfully arrived at the edge of the coast. Although they did not know which coast the pirates would log in, as long as there was any disturbance on the coast, they would not be able to escape Li Ang's hearing. At this time, in addition to Li Ang himself, there were three other people, the transparent man Absalom, the genius Dr. Hogbuk, and the swordsman Ryoma, standing beside him without saying a word. Relatively speaking, Hogbuk is standing here, meaningless. His own strength is not high, he just possesses extraordinary medical skills. In terms of combat power, he is a scum with less than 5 combat power. Even an ordinary pirate can easily oppose him. The reason why he dared to stand here is because of Li Ang's protection. Without Li Ang's terrifying strength as the confidence, Hogbuk would have fled as far as he was afraid. Your strength also needs to be tempered. Li Ang looked at the two and said slowly. Yes, your lord is right. The two nodded quickly in agreement. They naturally know their level of strength, and they are unknown in the Great Waterway. If they hadn't followed Moonlight Moria, they wouldn't have any sense of existence at all. Come on. Suddenly, Li Ang's eyes flickered, the corners of his mouth curled up, and he said in a low voice. Is that group of pirates here? The two looked a little nervous, said. To deal with these rabble, there are dragons and horses, and there is more than enough. Li Ang looked at Janao Longma and nodded. Under his signal, the swordsman Longma, holding the black sword Chushui, stepped out step by step and walked to the edge of the coast, his eyes staring straight ahead, motionless. The strength of Janao Longma is naturally not weak. Especially after seeing Li Ang's swordsmanship, it also brought great inspiration to his swordsmanship. This time, his swordsmanship level has improved quite rapidly, which is simply amazing. Whoa! The sea roared. Ahead, in the thick fog, there were shadows of pirate ships, one after another, all over the field of vision, and it was impossible to tell how many were there. Pirates. Hogbuk and Absalom shrank their pupils, looked forward with their eyes, and said. The pirate ships kept approaching, which made them both feel a lot of pressure. There are too many pirate ships, and it is impossible to see the edge at a glance, and it is even more difficult to distinguish how many pirate groups are there. Take Li Ang's head, and we will be rich. Also, getting the title and position of Chiwahai is so exciting. Brothers, we are about to reach the shore, and we are all ready for war. Chapter 051_Pirate Login, and GT, page 1/2. Please click the next page to continue reading. NLT, 31 and GT. Brothers, we are about to reach the shore, and we are all ready for war. Quote. One after another, the wild laughter of the pirates floated from the sea in front and entered Li Ang's ears. The wind and grass were all lingering in his ears. In this regard, he did not have much expression fluctuations. These pirates are just cannon fodder. Navy headquarters, are you expecting these rubbish to deal with me? Li Ang shook his head and said calmly. It's not that he is arrogant, but the enemies in front of him are really too weak. Even Moonlight Maria couldn't shake it, let alone him. These people are purely here to die. I don't know what the people in the Navy headquarters thought, they actually sent these people to die. Of course. Perhaps, the meaning of the Navy headquarters is to make the sea less pirates, so Li Ang was used as a bait to let the pirates kill each other. All in all, no matter what the final result is, there is no loss to the Navy. Li Ang stood on the shore, unmoved. Even though the pirate ship ahead was getting closer, he still didn't have any nervous emotions. At the same time, on the board of a pirate ship ahead, one by one, the pirates looked at the terrifying three-masted sailing ship in front of them with excitement, and they even saw Li Ang and others on the shore, shouting. I saw that man, he is Li Ang. Li Ang is indeed here. Brothers, it's time for us to do it. We're all ready, but we can't let others steal our record. The blood of countless pirates was boiling, and the pirate ship approached the shore. On the shipboard, groups of pirates jumped directly from the position of the shipboard and stood on the shore. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Li Ang's body, his eyes were blazing, and he could not wait to swallow Li Ang Sheng, shouting, do it. Kill. The pirates were surging, and the ground shook. How many people are there? The fog was so thick that it was impossible to tell. All I could see was a black head of people in front of me. A large swarm of pirates, logging in from the coast. After logging in, they caught Li Ang's position in an instant, with a completely crazy expression, full of excitement, and launched the first wave of rapid attacks. Kill. Groups of pirates, armed with weapons, blades, and guns, rushed towards them without fear. In the face of such a large number of pirates, Absalom and Hogbark were a little nervous, and could not help shrinking. The two of them don't have such a strong fighting power. I'm afraid that if the pirates in front of them press down, they will be smashed to pieces by their feet. NLT, 32 and GT. Chapter 052_Dragon Horse's Power. Sir. The two looked at Li Ang's back and took a deep breath, which eased their nervousness. With Li Ang standing in front, they felt a sense of security. At this time, Li Ang looked at the groups of pirates in front of him, his eyes turned, and his eyes kept wandering in the crowd. These pirates can find this place so accurately, there must be no lack of guidance from caring people. And who is this so-called, intentional person? I can't find it. It seems to be hidden in the group of pirates. Is it the Navy, or some other pirates? However, as long as these people are killed, that's all. The corners of Li Ang's mouth were slightly raised, and he said with a faint smile. Immediately, he looked at the position of the swordsman Longma and instructed, go ahead. Yes. Longma handed over, holding the black knife Chushui, and took the initiative to walk forward. A group of pirates was so dark that it was impossible to tell the number of people. And the other side. The swordsman Longma held the black sword Chushui, without any timidity, he went forward without any timidity. He is alone, and he is about to collide with the thousands of troops in front of him. Suddenly. At the moment when the two are about to collide. The swordsman moved, and he held the black knife Chushui, and instantly plunged into the crowd. Puff, puff. Wherever he passed, blood splattered on the ground. There was a strong smell of blood in the air. The ground was stained red with blood. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen pirates died. However, the dragon horse hadn't stopped. He took half a step back, holding the black sword Chushui, raised his hands, and chopped it down. Call out. A sharp slash slashed the ground, and a dazzling sword light slammed into the crowd of pirates ahead. Boom! With a loud bang, a group of pirates were hit. Ah, my arm! A pirate's hand was cut off, his face was full of fear, he roared, and cried out in pain. The rest of the pirates died on the spot, and some were even cut in half with a single sword and disappeared from this world. This damn guy, brothers, do it, kill him first, and then kill Liang. Yes, kill this monster first, otherwise, our brothers will be killed. Everyone, start, kill the monster first, then kill Liang. Quote. Countless pirates watched the swordsman Ryoma continue to harvest their companions, and their expressions were full of fear and anger. Chapter 052_Dragon Horsepower. NLT, 33 and GT. Countless pirates watched the swordsman Ryoma continue to harvest their companions, and their expressions were full of fear and anger. Immediately, in the words of everyone, they changed their direction and launched a wave of siege against Ryoma. Seeing that Ryoma was under siege, Liang's face was still calm. Behind him, Absalom and Hogak were nervous and did not dare to be too loud. The number of pirates in front of them is really too many to count. I believe there must be thousands of people. The entire coast was filled with pirates, and all eyes were filled with human figures. My lord, can he handle it? Hogak asked weakly. No accident, he'll be fine. The corners of Liang's mouth moved slightly, and he smiled lightly. Ryoma's swordsmanship has obviously improved a lot. This is because he has experienced Liang's extreme swordsmanship and the insights brought by it. From the beginning to the end, Liang stood aside, not intending to take action. Call out, call out. One after another fierce slashing, the bright sword light slammed into the group of pirates, taking away one life. Blood splattered on the ground, and the entire coast of the terrifying three-masted sailboat was showing a scene of massacre, which made the scalp numb. Occasionally, some corpses can be seen on the ground. The stumps of broken hands and feet are all over the place. Corpses are everywhere. In the blink of an eye, no less than 200 pirates died under the sword of the swordsman. Moreover, this number is constantly increasing. No one can get close to him. His fierce swordsmanship is too terrifying. With a single slash, dozens of lives were harvested, and these pirates were almost terrified. Very good record. Liang showed a smile and unabashed appreciation. No one knows, in fact, Liang's eyes have always stayed in this group of pirates. He wants to know who is hiding here. Without someone to lead, these pirates would not have reached the dread bark so smoothly. The fog here is too heavy in the magic triangle. People in it can't tell the sense of direction, and it's easy to get lost here. But this group of pirates managed to find the terrifying three-masted sailboat so smoothly. If there were no tricks here, Liang would naturally not believe it. Exactly, who is it? Liang narrowed his eyes slightly, with a meaningful smile. The swordsman Longma was as brave as ever, holding a black knife in autumn water, killing this group of pirates without leaving a piece of armor undevastated. There are corpses on the ground, showing the record of swordsmen and horses. He relied on himself, one knife at a time, and the accumulated corpses could be piled up into a mountain. NLT, 34 and GT. Chapter 053_Found You. Coast. The fog was so thick that it was impossible to capture the vision further away. On the ground, corpses were terrifying and blood was flowing, staining the ground red. The pirates were frightened. The swordsman Ryoma killed 500 pirates with one knife, all of them were infected with blood, like a blood man, but in fact, these pirates could not get close to him. Naturally they would not bring him any injury. Who is he? A pirate was startled, and the corners of his mouth trembled as he asked. One person, killing so many people, is really terrible. Such an enemy, they can't even get close, so how can they fight? Liang's accomplice. But this strength is too scary. What should we do, boss? With him blocking our way, we're afraid we won't be able to take Li Ang easily." "What are you afraid of? The fat sheep we got can make us give up halfway." "But, this guy is really too strong, we simply can't beat him." Quote. The pirates fell into silence, watching the swordsman Ryoma vigilantly, and did not attack again. They were terrified of being killed. The pile of corpses on the ground proves the terrifying strength of the swordsman Longma. After all, they are too weak. See. Li Ang shook his head in disappointment. "I thought what a terrible pirate came, but never thought that it was a group of rabble. If you can't even touch the corner of a dragon's horse, how can you fight? Adults are like gods." Hogbok and Absalom showed a smile and said quickly. Seeing such a tyrannical posture of the swordsman Ryoma, the tension in the hearts of the two dissipated. No matter how many people there are, it is impossible to get close to them without breaking through the defensive line of the swordsman Ryoma. Let me see, at this moment, the hidden person should also reveal his secret. Li Ang thought so in his heart, carefully holding the pirate in front of him. Whenever the pirates have any changes, he will find out the first time. What had been a fierce battle suddenly fell into a brief truce. The swordsman Longma stood alone in the center of the battlefield, holding a black knife in autumn water. On the handle of the knife, blood slid down the ground along the trajectory and arrived with a sound. The surrounding group of pirates were motionless, staring at the swordsman and dragon horse, daring not to act rashly. In the crowd, a pirate raised his hands. His eyes were wearing a pair of single glasses. His eyes narrowed slightly, and he quietly aimed at the head of the swordsman Ryoma. He was wearing a white shirt with a black coat over it, and he looked very different. But in a group of pirates, it is a very inconspicuous existence. Chapter 053_found you, NGT, page 1/2. Please click the next page to continue reading. NLT, 35 and GT. But in a group of pirates, it is a very inconspicuous existence. Are you going to kill him? The corners of the man's mouth moved slightly, calmly, thinking. He turned his eyes to the other side. A burly middle-aged man nodded calmly. Immediately, he had an answer in his heart, and the corners of his mouth curled up, ready to pull the trigger. At the same time, swordsman Ryoma's eyes focused in an instant, and saw the man with a sniper rifle. Neither showed any signs of moving. Looks like it was discovered. The corners of the man's mouth moved slightly, but there was no tension in his voice. Even if he was discovered by the swordsman Ryoma, he did not show a panicked expression. This kind of mentality is naturally based on strong strength, and it dares to show it. Call out. A sharp slash reopened the pirates, and arrived in front of him. Feeling this slash from the swordsman and the horse, the man seemed very indifferent. He kicked his feet and jumped high, showing a graceful arc, standing on the ground, dodging the slash. Boom! The slash hit the crowd behind the man, taking more than a dozen lives. Thief, ha 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 ha. The burly middle-aged man came over and chuckled softly. At the same time, 3 more people came, a total of 5 people. As a small group, hidden among this group of pirates, it was difficult to be noticed. Only. They were still found. This person is none other than Li Ang. At this moment, Li Ang looked at the position of the group of 5 people in front of his eyes. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised, his eyes twinkled, and he whispered to himself, "Finally, let me find you." It turned out that it was you 5 guys who led this group of pirates. Here. These 5 people, obviously, are not the Navy. Their identities, if nothing else, are also pirates. But why they led the pirates here is somewhat intriguing. The key is that the appearance of these 5 people makes Li Ang feel a little familiar. These 5 people should not be unknown juniors. It's just that, for a while, he couldn't think of who these 5 people were and what kind of identities they had. Forget it, anyway, we will know who they are in the end. Now, let's solve these little ones first. Now that we have found the true master, it will save a lot of trouble. Li Ang twisted his neck, stretched his body, and a smile appeared on his face. And LT, 36 and GT. Chapter 054 Blackbeard Pirates. Front. The swordsman Longma held the black sword Chushui. His face was expressionless, and he stared coldly at the group of pirates, motionless. This guy is a little weird. Sword master with superb swordsmanship, we have to be careful next. But he is the only one. Even if we use crowd tactics, we will still be able to kill him. Quote. Under the control of the terrifying swordsmanship of the swordsman Ryoma, the pirate did not dare to act rashly, and talked in a low voice. His face became more and more serious. In a group of pirates. The 5 men dressed in strange clothes were watching the changes on the battlefield without feeling nervous at all. On the contrary, they can't wait for the outbreak of the fighting to continue. One person, with a sturdy figure, wearing a black pirate admiral's clothes, with a thick black beard under his chin, is very prominent, and at the same time he grins, showing a smile that lacks teeth. He had several pistols tucked in the trouser pockets around his waist, exposing his chest, very burly. Beside him, the other 4 people, one wearing a white shirt and black top hat, looks like a magician. One person has a strong stature, his arms are thicker than his thighs, and his kongwu is powerful. The other 2 are respectively, one of them is a sniper, and the other is a little sick and listless, riding a tall horse. At this moment, Li Ang's eyes passed through a group of pirates and fixed on Blackbeard Tiki. He finally remembered who these people were. Blackbeard pirates, so it is. The 5 people are the Blackbeard pirates who have not yet become famous. Right now, they haven't fought Fire Fist Ace yet. Therefore, the location of Chiwahai is not that of Blackbeard Tich. Therefore, they want to deal with Li Ang. The purpose is very obvious. That is, they want to win the position of Chiwahai and implement the next plan. Prepare to enter the new world. In this way, Li Ang suddenly felt in his heart. He finally knew who led these pirates here, and he also knew very well the ultimate purpose of Blackbeard. Do you want to use my head to get the position of Chiwahai? The corners of Li Ang's mouth were slightly upturned, revealing a smile, and chuckled lightly. Could it be that he looks so easy to bully? Any cat or dog would dare to come here to attack him. It seems that it is time for some people to know that he is not easy to mess with. Otherwise, if the days to come are so troublesome every day, it will also disrupt his peaceful life. Today, let everyone in the sea hear my name. Li Ang moved his footsteps and took the initiative to walk towards the pirates in front. Chapter 054 Blackbeard Pirates. And LT, 37 and GT. Li Ang moved his footsteps and took the initiative to walk towards the pirates in front. At this time, Blackbeard Tich laughed loudly, with a sharp voice, and whispered, "Fan Oka, you guy, seems to have been discovered just now." "Yeah, Captain, I almost scared me to death. However, if you are a swordsman of this level, I can hit 10. Do you want me to shoot?" Fan Oka held a sniper rifle and smiled lightly. The strength of Janao Longma has not yet made them pay attention. Even though the swordsmanship of the swordsman Ryoma has improved a lot, in their opinion, it is still vulnerable. Don't be impulsive, our target is not him. The corners of Blackbeard Tich's mouth moved slightly and said sensibly. I always feel that the guy named Li Ang can be killed with one shot. Fan Oka was very confident, pushed up the monocular, and said. Don't underestimate him, he's the second man who escaped from the Push City. Even the Navy headquarters didn't dare to rashly attack him. I think he was afraid. Although we are the chess pieces of the Navy headquarters, we have to check it out. The other party's reality, and then decide the countermeasures. Blackbeard Tiki thought for a while and said slowly. He has always acted cautiously. Otherwise, it would not have been hidden in the Whitebeard pirates for decades without any change. It's just that they have no intention of doing it. Captain, he's about to do it. Lafitte, who is similar to a magician, reminded with a touch of curiosity. Immediately, the 5 Blackbeards all looked at Li Ang's position. Coincidentally, Li Ang's gaze was also fixed on Blackbeard's body. The two looked at each other, and the corners of his mouth twitched, his expression calm and outrageous. Go back, next, let me handle it. Li Ang looked at the swordsman Longma beside him and said bluntly. Yes, my lord. Swordsman Ryoma bowed his hands and nodded, and gradually left like a servant. By the way, lend me your black knife Chushui. Li Ang patted his head and smiled. Sir, please use it. The swordsman Longma naturally would not refuse, and immediately threw the black knife Chushui into the air, landing firmly on Li Ang's palm. Li Ang took the black knife and autumn water, took the initiative to walk in front of many pirates, and said lightly, I stand here, if anyone wants to take my life, now, stand up for me. NLT, 38 and GT. Chapter 055 Cut the Sea with a Sword. In a word, many pirates present were shocked and a little surprised. When something went wrong, Li Ang actually took the initiative to stand up instead of hiding behind the swordsman, which made them more or less aware of the clues. Kill. It's close at hand, this is a great opportunity. Don't come again when you can't miss the opportunity, brothers, don't be shy, kill them, we will get the highest honor. Although these guys from the Navy headquarters are despicable, the things they promised will never be false. Brothers, come with me and kill Li Ang. Kill Li Ang. Kill Li Ang. Quote. The pirates were boiling, and seeing Li Ang alone aroused the blood in their hearts. With only one person, they would not be so afraid. It seems that my reputation is not loud enough. If my reputation is good, these people will not be so rampant, and they will not dare to disturb my purity. Li Ang looked at a group of passionate pirates and thought so in his heart. But that's fine. Today, let him erect a majesty. Let the whole sea know that he is not easy to mess with. At this time, the pirates in front were surging, and everyone held a weapon and launched an attack on Li Ang's position with a manic smile on his face. The dense number of people made it impossible for the number of people to come. Facing this group of pirates, Li Ang was expressionless and calm. Holding the black knife Chushui, the body exudes a sword chi, and the sword chi is weak. Suddenly, the sword chi suddenly soared and spread out. A majestic sword chi was so sharp that it forced people to be unable to look directly. Li Ang's eyes were cloudy and deep, looking at a group of stunned pirates in front of him, holding the black knife Chushui in his right hand, slowly raising it. A hazy mist lingered, causing his figure to gradually become floating. What a strong breath! Blackbeard Titch's pupils shrank, staring at Li Ang, no longer the relaxed expression he had before. The other 4, Lafitte, Poison Q and others, also restrained their smiles and their faces were heavy. Undeniable. This terrifying sword energy has already made them feel the breath of death. Sure enough, the man who escaped from the advanced city must not be weak. Blackbeard took a deep breath and said slowly. Now he is a little fortunate, but fortunately he didn't do it, and he didn't join the group of pirates ahead. Otherwise, I am afraid that now he will face such a terrifying monster. No devil fruit abilities. In front of Li Ang, relying on his terrifying swordsmanship to the extreme, the sword energy filled the air and enveloped the audience. Anyone with a little bit of strength can tell just how terrifying this sword energy is. Boss, what should we do? It looks like he's not easy to deal with. Lafitte's eyes narrowed slightly, and he smiled dryly. What he didn't want to admit was that he had a sense of fear in his heart. Under the control of Li Ang's terrifying sword chi, his courage to fight in his heart was wiped out. Wait and see. Blackbeard said with a heavy face. The other side. Chapter 055 Cut the Sea with One Sword. NLT, 39 and GT. The other side. Li Ang held a black knife in autumn water, raised his right hand, looked at the many pirates in front of him, and smiled lightly. You guys, are you ready to die? Kill Li Ang. It's close at hand, he's only one person, why should we be afraid of it? That's right, brothers, don't be timid. There are so many of us, so many pirates are united together, can't he be alone? Quote. After countless pirates were startled by the sword energy, they still attacked unscrupulously. They didn't realize at all what kind of terrifying power Li Ang's sword energy represented. Even the swordsman Longma standing behind Li Ang was a little terrified. Sir's amazing swordsmanship, is it going to appear again? Swordsman Ryoma had some expectations and said with emotion. Being fortunate to be able to see Li Ang's swordsmanship is the reason why he is still alive. Whenever I see Li Ang's swordsmanship, I will only have a feeling of shock. Kill. A pirate was already standing in front of Li Ang, holding a machete and slashing down. Li Ang's face was calm, and he turned his head, easily dodging the pirate's attack. At the same time, his right hand slowly fell, and the knife fell. Puff. The pirate's head rolled on the ground and was killed on the spot. The death of one pirate cannot deter the remaining pirates. Only by killing them until their legs are soft, can they effectively curb their restless hearts. If that's the case, then you all go to die. Li Ang narrowed his eyes slightly, raised the black knife Chushui, and slowly lowered it. Call out. With a sharp slash, the bright rays of light slammed into the front, the ground was chopped apart, and terrifying power radiated out, colliding with the group of pirates. Boom. A loud bang. Ah! Countless pirates cried out. At this moment, almost 100 pirates died. This slash pierced through countless pirate crowds and slashed the ground. Whoa! Moreover, it rushed forward to the sea in front of it, raising waves. The sea water beat, splashed into the air, and gradually fell. Everyone can see that a terrifying crack has been split open on the sea surface. At this moment, the sea water cannot heal the cracks caused by this slash. Silence. All the pirates stiffened and did not dare to make any further offensive moves. The ground cracked open, and even the sea was cut into a deep crack. The horror scene made the scalp numb, and the spine was wet with cold sweat. NLT, 40 and GT. Chapter 056 _ Amazing Swordsmanship. A pirate stared straight at the sea, his lips trembling and his throat was dry, and said, "Is it an illusion? No, it's impossible, even the sea is cut off." You read that right, indeed, a slash cut off the sea surface. Moreover, it has not healed for a long time. What a terrible power and aftermath. This is the second man who escaped from the advanced city, Li Ang. It's too scary. My God, what kind of terrifying figure have we provoked? With this sword, he directly took hundreds of lives. How many people are not enough to kill? Quote. Countless pirates were terrified. When they saw the first slash urged by Li Ang, the fear in their hearts was magnified infinitely. More than 100 people died in this slash. Together, the sea was cut open. It can still be seen today, a clear crack, people can see the traces of the seawater cracking, and the clearly visible sand and gravel under the seabed. This slash directly traversed this sea. How far is the distance? People here can't see through it at all. Because what they saw from standing on the edge of the coast was an endless crack, and as far as they could see a crack on the sea surface, effectively containing the seawater on both sides. 1 second. 2 seconds. Seawater, clattered, poured back, and this made up for the cracks caused by the slash just now. That spectacular scene will make people unforgettable for the rest of their lives. Together with the 5 members of the Blackbeard Pirates, including Blackbeard Tiki, they all stared at the sea, until the sea healed the cracks again, and they came back to their senses. Silence. This Li Ang's strength seems a little too terrifying. Lafitte smiled nervously, looking very uneasy. If this slash hit him, he would definitely not be able to escape, and he would be killed here on the spot. Even me, I'm afraid it will be difficult to block this move. Blackbeard Titch's face was heavy and he had to admit it. The threatening power of this slash has already made him a little unsure, and he can stop it. Even the lawless and arrogant fighting champion Bashes felt a sense of retreat in his heart and whispered, "Boss, shall we retreat? I always feel that the 5 of us together cannot shake him alone. He is too strong." Poison Q is like a sickly seedling, but his expression is extremely solemn, and he said solemnly. The 5 of them all felt that Li Ang's terrifying strength was far beyond what the 5 of them could resist together. "Want to go now? I'm afraid it's a little late." Blackbeard Titch shook his head with a wry smile, looked at Li Ang, and said, "From the very beginning, his eyes have never left our side, that is to say, if we have a change, we will usher in that terrifying event. Do you think you can escape?" As soon as the words came out, the other 4 did not speak, and lowered their heads, feeling increasingly depressed. Being stared at by Li Ang, they didn't even have the chance to escape. In this case, it seems that they are in a desperate situation. I originally thought that they could at least get out of it. But when they met Li Ang, they realized that all this was just their own fantasy. Behind Li Ang, the swordsman Longmo was full of admiration, and his mood was high. "Your swordsmanship is too perfect. However, this is far from the ultimate, your lord, and you haven't really used your full strength." Chapter 056_Amazing Swordsmanship. Behind Li Ang, the swordsman Longmo was full of admiration, and his mood was high. "Your swordsmanship is too perfect. However, this is far from the ultimate, your lord, and you haven't really used your full strength." That's right. Li Ang hadn't used his full strength yet. The slash he just used only used 10% of his strength. If it erupts with all its strength, the shock it will bring is far more than that. Hogbok and Absalom were all smiles, and they finally breathed a sigh of relief. At least, Li Ang's shocking swordsmanship allows them both to be completely confident. How many pirates are in front of them, they are not afraid. Anyway, no one can shake Li Ang's swordsmanship, that's enough. At this time, Li Ang was holding a black knife in autumn water, and his eyes were looking at the countless pirates in front of him. Wherever the line of sight passed, all the pirates lowered their heads and did not dare to say a word. "You want my life? With your current strength, you are not qualified." Li Ang's mouth moved slightly and said lightly. The hand raised the knife and fell, and the black knife cut through the air. At the tip of the sword, a sharp slash lit up the dim environment, like a bright moon, extremely dazzling. "Call out." The slash hit a group of pirates in an instant. Boom! A loud bang. Countless pirates wailed again, and the number of pirates who died in this slash was no less than 200. Moreover, the slash still runs through the entire coast, allowing everyone to see that shocking picture. The roar of the seawater made up for the gap caused by the slash. Now, adding up the number of pirates, it is less than 3,000 people. Almost half of the manpower has been lost. And the death toll continues to rise. "No, no, don't kill me. I surrendered, I dare not, let me go." Most of the pirates chose to beg for mercy, kneeling on the ground and crying. Li Ang was unmoved, his face was calm, and then he threw a slash. "Call out." Slashing through the crowd, countless pirates were killed on the spot, and even the corpses could not be kept intact. There are even some who are directly cut in half, and the whole person is divided into 2 halves, and the incision is very neat. Blood was spilled, the ground was stained red with blood, and the smell of blood gradually rose. Let here present a terrifying scene, just like Shira Hell, countless corpses everywhere, piled up into mountains. The blood followed the trajectory and submerged into the sea, adding a different flavor to the sea. NLT, 42 and GT. Chapter 057_Massacre. Dead, all dead. Am I still alive? Those goddamn navies in the Navy, we've been fooled. They just let us die. No wonder, they didn't do anything to Li Ang, but let us people work for them instead. Damn it, I don't regret it. The pirates regretted it, and they begged for mercy when Li Ang launched the massacre. However, Li Ang was not soft-hearted because of their surrender. Call out. A slashing impact slammed into the crowd of pirates. Boom. The ground cracked, and it could be seen that there were some broken arms in the air, showing an arc and falling to the ground. The corpses became mutilated, and hundreds of people died on the spot. Some people are directly in critical condition. 3,000 pirates gradually become 2,000 people, 1,500 people. This number is still decreasing. Li Ang is like an executioner, and there is no sign of moving his footsteps. As long as the slashes are motivated, they can continue to kill these pirates. You, real adults, you have to pay the consequences for your choice. No one forced you to come here to die, just because of your greed. Of course, I'm not excusing the Navy headquarters. You are not good people, and the Navy headquarters are not good people. Everyone has different positions. The corners of Li Ang's mouth moved slightly, and his voice was flat and natural. Then, he urged the slash again. Call out, call out. One after another sharp slashes became the most dazzling light in the night. In this foggy environment, it is extremely dazzling. Ah, run away, this lunatic, he's going to kill us all. I don't want to die in this ghost place, run away, run away. Don't get in my way, get on the boat and escape from here. This place is horrible, I will never come here again in my life. Quote. The pirates backed away and went to the shore one after another, wanting to return to their ship. At the same time, Li Ang's face was calm, and he looked at the pirate ships in front of him, raising his knives and falling. Call out. A slash hit a ship. Boom. With a loud bang, a ship was cut in half with a single knife, smashing on the sea, causing ripples. The sea splashed, and fell to the edge of the coast. The shoulders of some pirates were soaked with seawater. But what made them desperate was that, then, one after another, they launched an attack on their pirate ship. Boom, boom, boom. Chapter 057 _ The Holocaust. NLT, 43 and GT. Boom, boom, boom. They could only watch helplessly as their pirate ship was destroyed, but there was no way to stop it. Their mood gradually became desperate. Even the pirate ship was destroyed, how could they escape? Finally, Li Ang has no plans to let all these people die here. After the destroyed pirate ship, he stopped his movements. Hundreds of pirate ships, and now there are only 5 or 6 remaining. Why didn't Li Ang kill them all? The answer, of course, was to let his reputation spread. These people can't all die. If they die, who can help him promote his reputation? No one promotes his reputation. I am afraid that if the Navy headquarters releases such news again in the future, there will be many people who do not have long heads and will come to disturb his quiet life. In the end, it's enough to leave 200 people. As for the others, just die here. The corners of Li Ang's mouth moved slightly, and he smiled lightly. Immediately after, a terrifying slash appeared again. Let the source of fear for these pirates once again envelope them. Fear could not be concealed on his face. Ah! The pirates wailed and prayed. But Li Ang was not merciful, his hands were covered with blood, causing these pirates to die one by one. From more than 1,000 people, it has been reduced to 200 or 300 people. There are the last 100 left to kill. Li Ang held the black knife in autumn water and walked towards the remaining pirates step by step. His figure, like a demon, became the biggest nightmare of this group of pirates, and they were terrified. Don't come, don't come. Ah, don't kill me, I can give you a lot of treasure. I was wrong, please let me go. Quote. The pirates knelt down and begged for mercy, wanting to win a chance to survive. But Li Ang was not soft-hearted from the beginning to the end, and he did not care about the so-called treasure. In his eyes, treasure is just a number. If you want berry, you can get it at your fingertips, and you don't need too much trouble. Want to kill me? Of course you have to risk your own life. Li Ang chuckled lightly, walked to the front of a pirate, looked at the pleading look of the other party, raised his knife and took a life away. Pleading. Here, these do not make sense. Li Ang's body was also stained with some bloodstains, and the strong bloody smell drifted into the air, making his figure more like a devil crawling out of hell, constantly reaping people's lives. NLT, 44 and GT. Chapter 058_ It's the Master's turn. Seeing that, Li Ang launched a massacre on this group of pirates. The members of the Blackbeard pirates were even more frightened. Their strength is indeed very strong, this is undeniable. But he couldn't bear it any more. Li Ang's strength was obviously stronger than them, many times stronger. When confronted with such a terrifying enemy as Li Ang, even Blackbeard Tiki felt a little timid in his heart. Boss, what should we do now? If we don't go, then it will be our turn. Go, can you leave? I didn't see that sharp slash, how did it destroy the pirate ship? If I tell you, we shouldn't have come here in the first place. It's too late to say anything now. Who knows, Li Ang's strength is so terrifying. Lafitte, Bassos, Van Oka and others talked in low voices, their voices full of panic. It's not that they have no guts, it can only be said that Li Ang's strength is too terrifying, causing their strength to be like a child in front of Li Ang, without the ability to resist. This was the first time that Blackbeard Tich felt a deep sense of powerlessness. Negligence, today, I'm afraid it's in jeopardy. Blackbeard took a deep breath, shook his head and sighed, saying, he will not give up any chance of survival. However, if the enemy he encounters is too strong, the chance of him surviving is very small, basically close to zero. When he saw Li Ang's sharp slash, he vaguely had some guesses in his heart. Now, the answer has emerged. The 5 of them together were not enough for Li Ang to break between his teeth. This is a fact that has to be admitted. The other side. Li Ang counted the remaining number of pirates a little, 220 people, 20 people have to be killed. After he finished speaking, he carried the black knife Chushui in his hand, and instantly killed another 20 people. The remaining 200 people, already dominated by fear, shivered, slumped on the ground, and did not even have the strength to escape. You're lucky to survive so many people. The black knife in Li Ang's hand was still dripping with blood, and he smiled as he looked at the 200 pirates. Heard. The 200 pirates didn't dare to speak, and shrank their bodies, for fear that Li Ang would attack again. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. After all, I'm going to let you get the word out here, you know. Li Ang narrowed his eyes slightly and said with a gentle smile. But his smile, in the eyes of these pirates, was indistinguishable from the devil's smile. A wounded and bloodied man smiling at himself, what does that feel like? On the ground, corpses piled up into mountains, and corpses were placed messily in different positions. The scene was so terrifying that it made one's scalp tingle. Thousands of people died here. Give these corpses to my good neighbor. I'm sure he will like it very much. Chapter 058_ It's the Master's turn. NLT, 45 and GT. Give these corpses to my good neighbor. I'm sure he will like it very much. The corners of Li Ang's mouth were slightly raised, and he smiled lightly. Isn't that guy, Moonlight Moria, dealing with corpses? This way, you can also get some benefits. Li Ang thought so in his heart, his eyes flickered, and he looked at another location. There, 5 people were watching with vigilance on their faces, and looked at Li Ang. Now, it's the main character's turn. These are just appetizers, and they haven't entered the game yet. Li Ang held the black knife Chushui in his hand, and the blood slid to the ground along the trajectory. The whole land was stained red with blood. The water roared and drifted, filling the edge of the coast, washing some corpses into the sea. One look. There were corpses floating all over the sea, and some were cut in two. The scene was extremely bloody and terrifying. Blood melts into the sea, but it cannot dye the sea red. It's only temporary, it dyes an area red. But the sea water continued to alternate, and soon, the blood was washed away. At this time, Li Ang looked at Blackbeard and the other 5 with a smile on his face, and walked forward step by step. Every step he made the mood of the Blackbeard and other 5 people become heavier. Their faces were tense, and their spirits were tense. If they hadn't seen Li Ang's strength, they would naturally not have too much fear. But after seeing Li Ang's terrifying strength, the pressure in their hearts arose spontaneously. "It's you who led the pirates here." Li Ang walked in front of Blackbeard and asked with a smile. "What price do I need for you to let me go?" Blackbeard Titch's desire for survival is very strong, and he said quickly. He doesn't want to die yet. His ambition has not been realized, and he will never allow himself to die in this ghost place where birds don't lay eggs. He is the man who wants to become the Pirate King. Thought here. Blackbeard Ticky's face became firm, looking at Li Ang, seeking the other party's opinion. Captain Vassos, Lafitte and other 4 looked at Blackbeard's back and fell silent. No one wants to die if they can. I wanted to kill you, but after thinking about it, I thought. If I kill you, I'll be fooled by the Navy. I don't want to be used as a gunman. If that's the case, then I don't need to kill you. The premise is, what conditions do you give in exchange for the lives of the 5 of you? Li Ang asked with a meaningful smile on his face. NLT, 46 and GT. Chapter 059 Blackbeard's Biggest Secret. What conditions? Blackbeard Titch's face was a little heavy, and he fell into deep thought. Even he himself doesn't think he has anything to give. There is nothing of value in the whole body. Devil fruit. He doesn't even have a devil fruit. The rest of the 4, Bashes, Van Oka, Lafitte, and Poison Q, didn't speak either. They looked at Li Ang with a terrified expression deep in their eyes that couldn't be concealed. Li Ang's strength is terrifying. If Li Ang was just a mere Chihuahua, they naturally wouldn't have too much fear. To deal with a Chihuahua, they still have confidence. But the problem is, Li Ang is not as simple as Chihuahua. With that slashing slash, Blackbeard seemed to have seen it, a swordsmanship that was more terrifying than Hawkeye. This thought shocked him even more. Hawkeye, known as the world's greatest swordsman, cannot be compared to Li Ang in pure swordsmanship. What does that mean? The person in front of him is even more eagle-eyed. Looking at your appearance, it seems that there is nothing that can buy your life. Li Ang narrowed his eyes slightly and said slowly. He held the black knife Chushui in his right hand, and the fierce sword energy permeated out. This sword chi suppressed Blackbeard's body in front, causing the 5 of them to show a heavy look at the same time, not daring to act rashly. Although Blackbeard still had a bit of luck in his heart, the chance of being able to defeat Li Ang, he didn't dare to try it lightly. Once they pissed off Li Ang, they were really over. Wait, what do you want? Blackbeard took a deep breath and asked. He really couldn't think of anything that could be exchanged for the lives of himself and others. Well, I won't make it difficult for you. The corners of Li Ang's mouth were slightly raised, and he looked at the Blackbeard meaningfully, and said, Tell me your deepest secret, the biggest secret. How about I let you go? The biggest secret deep inside. Blackbeard's face changed slightly, and he thought a lot for a while, but on the surface, he still couldn't tell the change in his expression. I have a lot of secrets, I don't know which one are you talking about. Blackbeard looked at Li Ang and said again. The one you keep the deepest secret. Li Ang said with a smile, his eyes seemed to see through Blackbeard's heart. Do you know who I am? Blackbeard asked suspiciously. Blackbeard Titch, I think, I still know your name. Chapter 059 Blackbeard's Biggest Secret. NLT, 47 and GT. Blackbeard Titch, I think, I still know your name. Li Ang's mouth moved slightly and replied. Hearing this, Blackbeard took a deep breath and said, Then let me tell you the purpose of my hiding in the Whitebeard Pirates for so many years. No. Li Ang shook his head and chuckled, It's not that, if you don't plan to recruit from the real thing, then I'll do it. Don't take some ordinary things to perfunctory me. That's my biggest secret. Blackbeard's face was heavy, and he said quickly. Are you sure? The corners of Li Ang's mouth moved slightly, and he smiled lightly. Immediately, he moved his footsteps and walked to Lafitte's side. He glanced at Lafitte's tall and thin figure, holding the black knife Chushui, and pressed it directly against the opponent's neck. Don't be impulsive. Lafitte quickly waved his hand and made a gesture of surrender, said. The knife cut through the skin, revealing blood, making Lafayette even more nervous. Now, Li Ang only needs to move a little and his head will fall to the ground. Well. Blackbeard's pupils shrank. Looking at Li Ang's movements, black objects appeared in his hands. The ability of the dark fruit, urging. He is looking for an opportunity to attack Li Ang. As for the biggest secret inside. This involves many things. He didn't want to expose his secrets, so the only option was to kill Li Ang in front of him. Prepare. Blackbeard and the other four looked at each other and conveyed his order in his eyes. He's going to attack. His hands were a mass of black objects, floating unsteadily, and he was hidden behind him, avoiding Li Ang's vision. He is confident that in such a close situation, the ability to activate the dark fruit can kill Li Ang in one hit. It is impossible for the opponent to react at all, and it is impossible to block his full blow. But, first of all, let the other party relax their vigilance. My greatest secret. With a bit of thought, Blackbeard said, that's. After he finished speaking, his expression instantly became hideous, and he grinned, that is, kill you. You really don't have a long memory. Li Ang looked at the change of the Blackbeard, his face was calm and unhurried. Seeing that Blackbeard's mass of black objects was attacking, his expression still didn't make much waves. At the same time, he looked at Blackbeard's eyes, as if he was looking at a jumping clown. NLT, 48 and GT. Chapter 060 The Ultimate Color. Dark Gun. Blackbeard kicked his feet and quickly took a half step back, and black objects appeared in his hands. Motivated by the ability of the dark fruit, the black object formed a cross, and attacked Li Ang's position swiftly. At the same time, Li Ang withdrew the black knife and autumn water a little, and Lafitte was able to escape. His face was full of lingering fears. A mark was drawn on his neck, and blood was flowing. The injury was not serious, but his whole heart was about to collapse. Dark fruit. The corner of Li Ang's mouth moved slightly, his face was calm, holding the black knife Chushui, slowly raised his right hand, and fell. Call out. A sharp slash collided with Blackbeard's dark spear. Boom. A loud bang. Almost everyone could see that the dazzling slash had broken Blackbeard's attack in a blink of an eye, and rushed towards Blackbeard's position swiftly. Well. Blackbeard's face changed, and black objects frantically emerged from his hands, covering the entire ground. At the same time, he pulled up a black knight, blocking it in front of him. The sharp slash hit the black wall. PFF'd. Unstoppable, the power of the slashing was so terrifying that even this black wall was cut off in the blink of an eye. There is nothing that can stop this slash. How is this possible? Blackbeard turned pale in shock, seeing that the attack was about to reach him. He gritted his teeth, covered his hands with black objects, and shouted, "Dark water." The dark water formed an acupoint, absorbing all the slashes. Ah, it hurts. Blackbeard rolled to the ground in an instant, his face full of pain, and he roared. His eyes were red and bloodshot, and the piercing pain from his body made him look extremely embarrassed, and he kept rolling on the ground. The ability of the dark fruit gave him a tyrannical swallowing ability, but it also brought double the pain. Captain. Bashes and the other four walked over one after another, looking at Li Ang's eyes. Fear was strong again. Li Ang's swordsmanship is terrible. This slash broke through all of Blackbeard's defenses, and forced him to choose to endure this pain in order to offset this slash. But the strength is obviously unusual. The Blackbeard is still rolling on the ground, the expression of pain, the nails of both hands pierce the skin, and the blood is exposed. I said, "Don't challenge my bottom line of strength, this is a lesson." Liang held the black knife Chushui, his face was calm, and he said lightly. At this moment, the sound of the system appeared. Some were caught off guard, with no sign at all. Congratulations to the host, open the modifier, see and hear the domineering plus 999,999. Open black lens bracket comprehend the voice of all things close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket breakthrough novice close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket breakthrough entry close black lens bracket. Chapter 060 The ultimate experience in color. And LT, 49 and GT. Open black lens bracket breakthrough entry close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket breakthrough proficiency close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket breakthrough master close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket breakthrough master close black lens bracket. Seeing the color. Liang was a little surprised, closed his eyes slightly, and felt the changes brought by the system to him. Really. Everything around him seemed to be heard by him. Hear the voice of all things. The ultimate domineering. Even being able to temporarily predict the future can be described as very terrifying. This is the arrogance of seeing and hearing. Liang slowly opened his eyes with a smile. He also did not expect that the moment he collided with Blackbeard, the numerical modification of the system would be brought about. But in general, being able to gain the ultimate arrogance and domineering has brought him great benefits. The ultimate sight. The ability to predict the future, listen to the voice of all things, etc., can be said to be very broad. Let me listen, what are you thinking? Liang narrowed his eyes slightly, looked at the black beard in front of him, and smiled lightly. He tried his best to mobilize the domineering arrogance, and there seemed to be voices coming from his ears. How can this damn Liang be so strong? Fuck, what to do? Damn it. But it hurts. This slash actually made me feel it, as if it was the most painful injury in the world. Quote. Immediately, Liang withdrew his gaze, returned to the present, and looked at Blackbeard's painful expression, shining brightly. The extreme domineering of seeing and hearing is really unusual. Listening to the voice of all things, this is the legendary ability that Roger has. It is difficult for the whole world to find a second person. However, Liang now has this ability. Even, his sense of sight is stronger than that of Roger. Roger's knowledge can't predict the future, but Liang's knowledge can do it. That's good. Liang looked at Blackbeard with a smile, and said, should I thank you, or should I kill you? After all, you have brought me the ultimate knowledge, so it's a credit. Finally, I'll ask again, tell you the biggest secret in your heart, and I'll let you go. If you continue to perfunctory, your body will sink in the sea. Don't blame me for not reminding you. I'm already kind, haven't I? The corners of Liang's mouth twitched, and he smiled faintly. If it wasn't for the Navy to lose an enemy for no reason, Liang would have killed Blackbeard now. Moreover, the feeling of being used as a gunman is always very uncomfortable. Liang doesn't want to be a gun in the Navy headquarters.